Hey, it's Caitlin and Brienne from Wabi-Sabi Well. Today we're bringing you our very first vlog, yay, on the topic of food and mindfulness. So this is a topic that's near and dear to our hearts because we have both had eating disorders in the past. And we know a lot of people either have had an eating disorder or have some form of disordered eating.
And it's not spoken about. It's
yeah. I mean, I think most of the conversation around eating is about dieting and what foods you allow yourself to eat or what food, instead of how do we heal our relationship with food. And so for us, we just wanted to share some of the things that we do that you might find useful. So we're going to kick off with food prep. So we love to infuse our food with good vibrations from the outset. So that means cooking in the kitchen with either music that we love or mantra. So it's a way of sort of shifting your attitude because we're not always in a great mood when we come home from work and have to cook dinner. Could have had a bad day, could be just exhausted, it could be chaos with kids running around screaming. And music and mantra are a great way to tap into a better mood.
So it's transferable. Energy and frequency of food and mood. Mood is transferable to
totally
food. And that's evidenced in Dr. Emoto's work. If you're familiar, I feel like most people are these days. And in my circle, a lot of people, everyone seems to know his work. So he did experiments with water, taking photos of the effect of thought, which is energy, on the molecular structure of water. He took photos that were really zoomed in to the point that they formed these like either really stunning, symmetrical, beautiful patterns in response to thoughts like, I love you, or you're beautiful. And then under negative, I want to kill you, I hate you.
I'll make you sick.
Yeah, they were really deformed and really chaotic formations, which just goes to show he really makes the point or stresses the point that humans are 2/3 water. So if your habitual thoughts are negative, then that can be really destructive. Or if they're positive, then you're just creating this healthy internal world for yourself, and that is infused also in your food. He's done an experiment with rice and same effect.
Bacterial growth.
So it's really powerful and not to be underestimated. I know it sounds like crazy.
It does sound a little foo-foo. But
often the foo-foo things are based heavily in science. We just haven't caught up scientifically yet.
Oh, and I think our feeling on things is like we may not know exactly why they work, but if they work, doing it. So whether it's just a song that you love and it makes you want to boogie, do that. Or if you like mantra and you connect with that, try that. The whole idea behind either chanting mantra, and you don't have to chant it, you can just listen to it, the effect is still there, is that you're tapping into sort of a lineage of...
It's got ancient history, so it's built up charge and association and power, that vibration, that frequency of that word. So you're channeling that
just by listening to it. So it's sort of a little shortcut, and like we like to say, you're joining the conga line of good vibes that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. So we might create a little Spotify playlist of some of our favorite mantra to cook to, so stay tuned for that. We'll try and tee that up for you guys. Try that. Try infusing your food with good vibes, and that can even extend to when you're preparing your food. Like kale is a great one, because when you're making a kale salad, you need to massage the kale. So massaging the kale with loving thoughts sounds really crazy, but we think it works. So give that a shot when you're preparing your meals, or when you're preparing meals for loved ones as well. It's a really lovely thing to infuse your food with good vibes.
Infuse your food with a good mood.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. See what you did there.
Our second topic is breath. So this is something that I continue to do, and I guess I don't even know how I got onto it, but you basically, your nervous system, you have your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest mode, and then you have your sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. And we still have our old caveman DNA, so we are highly reactive creatures, and we needed to be back then for survival. So these days it's not like there are lions and tigers and bears racing around the city streets.
But there's anxiety and stress and deadlines and...
Yeah, so you can get you go into the same flight mode just through loud noises and traffic and our busy minds and the fact that this day and age we just have a lot more pressure and chaos around us. So what happens when your nervous system is triggered? You go into this flight mode, all the blood leaves your belly where your digestion occurs and goes into your limbs, your legs and your arms, ready for fighting or
running for the hills.
Yeah. Which means that anything you eat isn't being digested and no nutrients is being assimilated anyway. So the way to kind of intercept that is to come back to your breath, be mindful of your breath. So if you start to pay attention, you'll probably notice if you're an anxious person or if you have an eating disorder or just a tense relationship with food, if you tend to overeat and binge, you're definitely going to be operating from that fight or flight mode. So what happens, if you start to tune in and pay attention, you'll notice that your breathing becomes really shallow. If you pay attention to how your belly feels when you're in that moment or that scenario.
Your heart could be racing.
Yeah, your heart will be racing.
It's an adrenal state, right? It's that sort of buzzy state.
Yeah, and I had no idea exactly what was going on, but when I started to pay attention, I could feel my belly is kind of tight, as like a gripping sensation. Even like it sounds extreme, but on a subtle level, there's tension in the belly. So if you were to place a hand on your belly and just take 3 deep, full belly breaths, so you're inviting the in-breath all the way down into your lower torso, which means that your hand will move in response. You really want to create that effect of a slowly inflating balloon on the inhale and then relaxing on the exhale. If you can do that just for 3 breaths, you're going to shift gears and get yourself back into that. It's a portal into the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a portal into presence and peacefulness.
That sends a metabolic message to your body that you're safe and it's safe to digest the food and assimilate the nutrients.
Yeah, so your metabolism just pairs along nicely. Your body gets, all the nutrients explodes into all your cells and you feel happier and fuller.
Satisfied.
Out of less food in general. Yeah.
So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to...
reverence and ritual.
Yeah, create some reverence and ritual around eating. So most of us, myself included, eat on the run a lot. For me, that means shoveling food as I stand at the kitchen counter or at my desk with 2 young kids around. That's often what happens is mama's meals are on the go. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. So this idea of finding a way to find reverence even with our busy lives. So one thing is to turn off devices, which I know is really hard for a lot of us, but try and just be present and focus on your food while you're eating at least once a day.
No temptation, just put it in another room.
Yeah, put it in another room. Turn off the TV, turn off the computer, or
keep the music on.
Keep the music on. And maybe have a conversation with someone if they're around.
Radical.
Crazy. And yeah, I get that that's not an always thing. I eat at my desk all the time, but 1 meal a day or 1 meal a week, it can be a really profound shift into just diving into presence with your food.
It's reverence and ritual as much as you can everywhere in your life makes a huge difference. It's an invitation. You really it feels sacred.
It feels sacred, and it leaves you feeling satisfied. It leaves you feeling really satisfied.
It leaves you feeling like you've just had some, lush, indulgent experience.
Definitely.
And you can create that every day. Just light a candle and put some good music on.
So light a candle, put some music on, turn off the devices where possible. And then right before you eat, people have been saying grace at the dinner table for years in a lot of religious traditions, and that's not something I grew up doing in my family, but it's something I do now because I think it's a really lovely way to transition from doing and buzzing around, got my 3 deep full belly breaths, and then sort of saying thank you for the food. The attitude of gratitude extends to all parts of your life. And what I like to do is sort of just say thank you for nourishing my body, filling me with life force and vitality, and something like that. You know, you can create your own little phrase, but yeah, just taking a minute to say thank you. And then I sort of place my hands over my food like this, and I just infuse it with the good vibes.
Yeah.
So in short, bless your bowl.
Yeah.
Or your friend's bowl.
Yeah. My last name is Bowl.
Yeah. Bless Bowl's bowl.
Bless you. I am your bowl.
You are my bowl. Bless my bowl. Bless Bowl's bowl. So basically the message in all of this is just to take a little bit of time.
Pay attention.
And find pleasure in your food instead of focusing on the portions and, you know, what you're eating. It's about how you're eating is just as important as what you're eating. Yeah. So we hope that's helpful in some way. We'd love to hear your tips, tricks, rituals.
Things that you do.
Yeah, so leave them for us in the comments below. And we'll be back with another vlog for you very soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye now.
Peace.